Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to 22 Panels, where my guest tonight is the wonderful Bryce Ingman, co-creator of My Bad, um, the guy who drew the short straw and got to follow Grant Morrison on Partially Naked Came the Manatee. And we're going to talk about that a little because Grant got to write the most.
Oh yeah.
And Grant is Grant.
Yeah.
Both in terms of stature and in terms of the way they write.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Yeah. They gave me a challenge with what they wrote. That's for sure.
I mean, in some ways, I think you actually wound up setting the tone more for the writing after you than Grant did. I think Grant really set the setting and defined the characters.
Mm-hmm.
But nobody else tried to write like Grant. And I think you were probably the one that essentially gave them permission not to continue the really kind of weird
Yeah.
rhythm that he had going with it.
Well, I won't take credit for that decision because
Okay.
when I first read Grant's piece, I started going, "Oh man, do I need to try to assume this style?"
Right.
And the editor, Stuart Moore, was like, "No, no, 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 no. We don't want that. We don't want people aping Grant Morrison. Just do
Right.
your own thing to
Okay.
carry the story forward." So I had permission to do that, and it was a huge relief
Well,
because
I would hope. I mean, because among other things, that's kind of how the exquisite corpse, or I mean, I love that it's like um it's do you know? I think it's Naked Came the Manatee. Do you know that book?
no, see, I
There
didn't get
is
that reference.
there is actually a book that I think was Carl Hyacin, Dave Barry,
Oh, oh,
and a couple other like
I love
Florida
Carl
crime
Hyde.
novelists.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
And so it was called Partially Naked Came the Manatee. Is
no, it
that
was called Naked Came the Manatee.
ah?
And then you've got the Exquisite Corpse is the game that also became, you
Right,
know,
the detective game.
the
Right.
narrative corpse. And if you've never seen it, the online version is the Infinite Corpse.
Oh no, I haven't. No.
Oh,
Wow.
oh, I'll drop that link for you in a second.
Oh, cool.
Let me, because particularly now we've now done two different like audio versions of comic type things. We did an actual performance of the Santos Sisters Halloween special, which was really
Oh
cool.
wow. Yeah.
If you like Santos Sisters at all, you should go grab that and listen to it while you look at your Halloween special. If you don't know Santos Sisters, go get to know Santos Sisters and grab it and we did the authorized audio recording.
Oh wow.
And
Awesome.
the creators were happy with it. So I just dropped the
Oh,
link for the Infinite Corpse, and I'll
thank
pull
you.
that up on screen here too, because at some point I think it would be fun to find a couple of people, because essentially what the way it works is, each creator does, I mean, like with the Infinite Corpse, each
Mm-hmm.
creator only gets to see the three panels before and does the next three panels.
That's
And
fun. Yeah, I'm gonna check that out for sure.
yeah, you know, Art
Wow. Thanks.
Spiegelman did three
Yeah.
panels, and I mean, like anybody's allowed to.
Yeah.
They've got a. I mean, I've had a couple of people contribute since I told them about it. It was Bob Sikoriak that told me about it, because he's the one. Actually, only a day or two after I met you was when we talked to Bob
Oh
Sikoriak
wow.
the first time. And when I discovered this, which Tyler gave me for Christmas right after if you haven't seen this is hard to get a hold of, but I've been given permission to eventually, when I got to take the time to do it right. I want to, and it'd be like for internal putting out. But Bob said, absolutely digitize it so you can give it to people because there were only like
Oh, neat.
900 of them made.
Oh, wow.
Maybe 9,000, one or the other, but
Small print
I mean,
run either way.
it's 69 different artists where they only got to see the 3 panels before them. But I'm just going to run through these because I do this every once in a while, particularly for people that I know will appreciate it, and you will. This is in alphabetical order. Max Anderson, Peter Bagg, Linda Berry, Mark Beyer, Chester Brown, M.K. Brown, Charles Burns, Max Cabanas, Daniel Clowes, Paul Corio, R. Crum, Georgianne Dean, Kim Deitch, Julie Doucette, Pascal Dory, Debbie Dreschler, Will Eisner, Mary Fleeney, Drew Friedman, Scott Gillis, Justin Green, Bill Griffith, Matt Groening, Gilbert Hernandez, Jaime Hernandez, Kama Gurka and Herr Seal, Ben Catchor, Kaz, Eileen Kaminsky Crum, Christine Critter, Mark Landam, Carol Lay, who has a chapter of Partially Naked Came the Corpse.
Right.
Gary Lieb, Jacques Lousteau, Jason Lutz, Jay Lynch, Mariscal, Lorenzo Matati, David Mazzucchelli, Scott McLeod, Richard McGuire, Ever Mullen, Jose Munoz, Thomas Ott, Gary Panter, Jay Perrinen, Jer Poga, Bruno Richard, Jonathan Rosen, Joe Sacco, Richard Sala, David Sandlin, Savage Pencil, Gilbert Shelton, Ars Koriak, Spain, Art Spiegelman, Carol Swain, Just Swarte, Carol Tyler, Typex, Mort Walker, Chris Ware, G. Wasco, Willem S. Clay Wilson, Jim Woodring, and Mark Zingarelli.
That's like everyone. That's like everybody.
Contributed 3 panels apiece.
That's so cool.
And only got to see the 3 panels before them.
Yeah. What a fun project. What a challenge.
It is. I actually, at some point, I want to do something where I want to do something with this, possibly even like our first video where we managed to actually, here's where you can do it. We'll read it and you can see it because it's so hard to get your hands on.
Right. That's neat. Thanks for sharing.
But so, the Partially Naked came the corpse follows that tradition.
Yeah.
And that was why I was sold even before I started seeing, people I know.
Yeah.
And like are part of this. And here's the Naked Came the Manatee. It was
okay.
Carl Hyacin, Elmore Leonard, Dave Barry, James Hall, Edna Buchanan, Lee Standiford, Paul Levine, Brian Antoni, Tanner Ribdu, John Dufresne, Vicki Hendricks, Carolyn Hospital, and Evelyn Meyerson.
Wow, I'm getting that.
Yeah.
I love so many of those people.
It won't. I mean, I got it years ago, and as is somewhat to be expected, it wound up probably not being greater than the sum of its parts because it's just because and this was going to lead to my first question for you because I feel like all the writers got to read everything before them rather than just the part before them.
Definitely.
I think with Naked Came the Manatee, they literally only got to read the stuff before them, but then the previous people got to read the chapters and go, nope, you can't do that. So
a little veto power. I got it. Okay.
So to avoid,
yeah.
And it's been so long since I read it, I don't want to guarantee how it happened, but again, it was essentially, you got to see a very limited section.
Yeah.
And then write your chapter, but there was some sort of editorial control to make certain that you didn't. I mean, particularly because it's a murder mystery. You can't you can't completely. And I think Hyacin wrote the first and last chapters and, but I love the idea of writing back and forth or writing in a circle or whatever.
It's a kid's game, right? It's fun. Yeah.
I mean, the Commandy Challenge did it a couple years ago, too.
Yes. Well, way back.
Yeah.
There was the DC challenge when I was a youth
I
in
don't
the
know if I
80s.
know that one.
Yeah, DC Challenge, same thing. Every issue, different writer, different artist. 12 issues, kind of like Commandy.
So, I mean, what do you know about um how it came about, or were you on board when they just asked you to do it?
They just asked me to do it.
Okay.
I think, because there's Stuart Moore and Tom Pyre have,
Right.
a relationship with Grant. They were able to ask them if they would do it to, help celebrate the 5 year
Right.
anniversary for Ahoy,
Well, and
just like
Grant did, I think, a short story or two early on too, in like Captain Ginger.
very first. I think it was either Wrong Earth or Captain Ginger. One of the very
Right.
first Ahoy books
Right.
has one or two Grant
Right.
Morrison short stories.
Right.
Yeah, so it was appropriate. And you know, when I was in college, like my biggest comic book obsession was Doom Patrol, Grant Morrison's
Okay.
Doom Patrol, and so it was so exciting to be asked to be part of it, and then to find out that I was directly following them
Yeah.
was, both exciting and a little daunting at first, but more exciting than
Right.
scary. And I probably read their piece, Morrison's piece, 3 or 4 times before I sat down to write,
You almost
because
have to.
so dense, so much
Yeah.
going on, so many
Well,
jokes.
and all of you guys got one chapter, and he got, or they got what, 10?
Yeah, right. Yeah. And I wrote more than I was supposed to. We were asked to try to keep it to 1 page if we
Nobody
could,
did. I think
but
like
nobody
one
did.
person did.
Yeah, I
It's
asked
like a two
Stuart. I said,
spread. It's like a 2-page spread for everybody.
yes, but I set out to try to write 700 words, which was what he requested. I think it ended up being 1,200 or something, and he
Right.
said it's okay.
Right.
And yeah, it must have been what happened for most people. It's hard to compress things into 700 words if you're going to actually try to move the
Well,
narrative.
particularly if you actually get like excited at all about what you're writing.
Yeah, and I really like the Barker and the Blonde characters that
Yeah.
Morrison came up with.
He's
I'm
definitely.
actually I'm actually, I'm gonna ask Ahoy if there's any way that I could do something else with those characters, maybe in comic book form. Of
That
course,
would be fun.
that would have to
I
be worked out with Grant,
I
but
I, I
I would
think
like to
that
do it.
could make a great comic.
I think so
Just
too.
just the decisions that and this is where the fact that Ahoy has one of the best letters in the business as your production manager will be helpful, because just decisions on how to balloon everything
Yeah,
would be
right.
amazing.
Yeah, the
Because does the
communication.
dog really use words,
Mm-hmm.
or should
Yeah.
the dog be sending images and whatnot back?
Right.
That's something that I've wanted to play with. That's something that's gone into my head as something that should be played with anyway. And I think I've only seen it played with significantly once, and that was who was his artist? Um, Sword Daughter by Brian Wood and
I haven't read it.
is it Mac Chater?
Okay. I'm not going to be able to help since I haven't read it.
Yeah, I don't know Mac Chater, but so the premise is that like your like opening premise is like this Viking father um saves his daughter who was kidnapped ages ago, and now they're seeking revenge, etc. But she was kidnapped long enough ago that she didn't like really fully grasp speech, so
Ah,
all of her speech bubbles are actually pictures.
neat. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. I've played with
um,
that a bit with Acid Chimp over in my bat. I've done a little of
right,
that with
right.
balloons, and
But
so yeah.
particularly after I discovered that about half of people think primarily in words and about half of people think primarily in pictures.
Mm-hmm,
And
mm-hmm.
and not long after discovering that, my wife and I discovered that one of our challenges in figuring out how to communicate best with each other is she thinks in pictures and I think in words. I cannot build a picture in my, I can build
Yeah.
a very layered set of words in my mind to describe a picture.
Yeah.
But I'm not even seeing the words. I'm like hearing the words. The words are just there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not even quite hearing because it's like there's not a specific voice, but it's like the words are just there. It's not a picture of the words, and it's certainly not a picture of whatever I'm conjuring.
Yeah.
Whereas my wife is like, you what?
Yeah.
All I have is pictures. So I've always thought it would be fun to really kind of play with. I mean, because again, comics are like the only medium that you could really explore that with.
Yeah. No, and that was
there's
one
my
of the
free idea to creators out there, since there are a million people who might get to it before me.
Well, if I get to do a Barker and the Blonde project, I would definitely want to, concentrate on that as we develop the project. Like, how are we going to have these two characters communicate? And that was one of the things that interested me in Barker and the Blonde when I read the original
right.
story, the Morrison story. I was like, oh, these two characters, so cool, so interesting. And
it was, I forget who it was that made the decision, but I liked the decision later on that it turns out that the blonde can speak.
Yeah.
Her voice just didn't test well.
That's me.
That was you? For whatever reason, I felt like that was later.
No, that was in mine. Yeah. The thing about the show and everything, of course, is from Morrison's story, but the part about not testing well, that was me.
Okay. Well, see, I read them all together, so I'm sorry.
Hey. I'm glad that it was seamless.
Yeah,
that's
no, but I did really dig that twist there. I'm like, oh, that's because now it's like, okay, so she doesn't talk on the show, but she can talk other places, particularly if you were writing a comic that didn't have to be just the show. Yeah. There is so much you could do with, I mean, what would a date look like now?
Right. Yeah, and what I've thought about is like, I'd like to balance the book between like that kind of stuff, like personal life stuff with their cases that were part of the show.
Well, you definitely have my vote, and fingers crossed that Ahoy and Grant will let you run with that, because just based on my knowledge of your sense of humor and your writing style, I think you'd be well suited for it.
Thank you.
That actually leads us very well into take your pick. Do you want to talk? You want to talk about your cryptid story? Do you want to talk about the upcoming Acid Chimp versus Business Dog?
Either. You pick. We'll talk about both.
Let's start with your cryptid, because I loved that. I think you made up your cryptid entirely. No, that's a real thing.
I mean, when I was offered a chance to do the cryptid project, I wasn't the first person that was asked, right? And so a lot of them were already taken. And, I was like, oh, so I had to go. I went online. It was like, went to Wikipedia, literally, with list of cryptids.
Okay, remind me what it is, because I gotta look up.
Loveland Frogman is a real, supposedly, as real as any cryptid.
Frogman, Loveland?
Loveland Frogman. Yep.
All right.
And so the whole thing with
Loveland Frog, Ohio. Okay. Wow.
Yeah. And the sticks and electricity, that's from, the legend. And I thought, oh, this is fun. We got a frogman who can manipulate electricity with sticks. Sign me up.
So somebody's got to update the Loveland Frog Wikipedia page, because you're not in the in-fiction yet.
Damn it.
It's clearly not one of the ones that has people. I mean, some things get updated. Like how many people die and you go to read their Wikipedia page and it's like you've known they were dead for 10 minutes and it's already been updated.
Yeah, right. Sometimes they get it wrong,
But as far as Wikipedia, the last use in fiction was from Paul Morris, the Frogman of Loveland, an otherworldly tale of love, legend, and Christmas magic from 2022.
Cool.
And in that story, the Frogman is a boy named Frenchie who battles to save Christmas.
Oh, interesting.
And apparently there's a locally famous landmark called Chateau La Roche, also known as the Loveland Castle.
Interesting. I heard that recently Loveland, Ohio, like made the Frogman their official like town mascot. So
okay,
that was really cool. Recent. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so that story, you know, after I chose the Frogman and got that approved by Ahoy as no one else having chosen him.
I mean,
yeah, right. not surprising.
See, I mean, considering I had literally thought that you had managed to get approval. So it looks like Loveland is right on the edge of the Cincinnati suburbs.
Yeah. So I had this initial thought. You know, I wrote. It was one of those things. You know, David Lynch talked about catching ideas, like fishing and catching ideas, and I just had this idea of the Loveland Frogman's always there when you need him. And that was all I had, you know, and I worked on the story for a month or so, and it wasn't working for me. I was trying other things. And then we had a snow delay at school, and I was in the shower.
You still have those?
Yeah, still have snow delays here in Oregon.
Because I mean, we just go virtual.
That's a great point. We certainly could do that. And I suppose if we went into an extended period of like several days of snow, they would do that. But they just bake in 2 snow days every year. And
I mean, I think we might have that too, but
yeah, and we don't get a lot of snow up here.
But I mean, that was one of the reasons why my school was uniquely, I mean, I hope not completely uniquely, but it feels uniquely prepared for the pandemic, is we'd actually figured out how to do synchronous learning for snow days like a year or two before the pandemic. And while we hadn't rolled it out yet, there'd been people working on it.
Wow.
So when we decided to shut down, we shut down for students a day earlier than we shut down for staff. And then, I mean, thankfully, it had been something that like people from every department had been working on a team together on, you know, so that we could get rid of snow days. So it's like they ran the whole school meeting to introduce us to Zoom and talk. And then we broke out into departments to get into the details. Okay, how are we going to make this work?
Yeah.
And thankfully, it was the day before spring break to boot. So we had a week to figure out how to, you know, and I think for the first 2 weeks, the goal was 3 days synchronous a week minimum. But by the end of the year, we want to be all synchronous. And, you know, it seemed like everybody got there pretty quickly.
Yeah, we weren't really able to like do it properly for over a month. I mean, it took some work to get things set up, and even to get the kids computers, because the kids didn't have computers at our school at that point. I mean, now they all.
The upside. Our kids all had iPads already.
Yeah, we did not.
That was a slightly easier thing. So anyway, sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. All right, tangents are good. That snow day, you know, I'm in the shower, and like the story just popped into my head. Everything was there, pop, 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 just like it is in the book you read. And I got out of the shower. You know, thankfully I had a couple hours because of the snow delay, so I sat down and wrote out, you know, the whole story, and then polished it up over the next few days and sent it off throughout what I've been working on for a month, which, you know, so often that's what happens with writing.
That sounds really fun.
Yeah.
No, Chagrin Falls is the other way. See, I was momentarily distracted because, you know, I had to see, you know, I went to CXC this year and loved it so much that it's definitely going to be a regular thing for me because Columbus just isn't that far away. And it's like the one con that really crosses as many boundaries as it can. Probably the only group they don't seek out are superhero people, but that doesn't mean that like they're not allowed.
Yeah. That's cool.
So I mean, you got Shelley Bond next to students, next to Dave Baker and Nicole Gu, next to MS Harkness or Ben Passmore, Nate Powell, just all over the place.
Wow.
And on top of that, like all of the after party stuff and receptions are open to the public. So there are many opportunities where you're not even just hanging out with them. I hung out at a karaoke bar with Nate Powell and Ben Passmore and Matt Forbes and
Nate's a great guy. I got to know him a few years back. When Mark was at Top Shelf, and of course he was at Top Shelf with March, and hung out with him a few times. He's a great guy.
Yeah, he's been on the show a couple of times, and will be again because they were supposed to come out in separate years, but things coalesced so that he's got his next fiction book coming out in I think February, and then his adaptation of Lies My Teacher Told Me coming out in like May.
Oh wow!
So it's like boom, boom.
2 in 1 year. Yeah.
Well, because starting with March, he actually started, and this is this is public knowledge. He talked about it on this podcast. He started actually generally doing 2 books at once. He'll be working on a fiction and a nonfiction project at the same time because that gives him. Yeah. It sounds like he's got a massive amount of energy, so it's easy for him to work 6-8 hours at a stretch without needing to stop, but not a ridiculously long attention span. So it'll be like half an hour of penciling this, half an hour of writing that, half an hour of inking this, half an hour of coloring that.
Interesting.
He like showed us around his office to talk about how he's like, there's not always a rhyme or reason, but I've got these things set up, and it's like, as soon as I get bored, the key is to just not be bored. Because when I get bored, I slow down. So if I'm bored with this, it's time to do something else.
And he's a multi-hyphenate, so he's got lots of skills.
Right.
I can't do that. I can't switch from writing to drawing and coloring. I have to stay with the writing.
Yeah. I mean, maybe you could learn to letter.
Maybe. I mean, that would be the second possibility.
Alex DeCampi does her own lettering.
Yeah, I know some people do. Some artists and some writers. Yeah, right.
But have you ever tried your hand at art at all, or not really?
I mean, for fun, But
I mean, Mark just put out his art book via Kickstarter.
Yeah, for sure.
Those are pretty cool cartoons.
Yeah. Oh, I've known
not
those
necessarily high quality art, but
no.
Funny.
But literally, in college, I'd be sitting next to him and he'd be drawing those cartoons and showing them to me, and I'd be trying not to get in trouble laughing in the college class.
That sounds like I don't know if you know Dylan Gilbertson. He's written a couple of comics. And I vaguely knew before we had him on, because he reached out to see if we would talk to him about his Kickstarter, that my brother had a friend who I couldn't remember if he wrote or drew comics until we were talking. And it's like, oh, you went to school with my baby brother. I read your first comic because my brother called me up and said, hey, my friend's got this comic coming out. You should read it.
Yeah.
But
I would be in the cartoons half the time. None of the ones in the book show me, but he would draw me and our other friends into those little cartoons. I still have some, from back in college days of like him drawing me in a funny, one of those funny scenarios, one of those odd scenarios that he likes to do.
I also bring that up because this is the college comic that he was making when my brother was in school.
I'm on my phone, so it's really small. I can't really read.
It's called Bare Arm Baby.
That's a fun title.
And it starts with the doctor saying, "Oh, there's something wrong. We need to fix it. Nurse, bring me that baby DNA." But then the nurse accidentally brings the bear DNA. And then you've got like the bear arms trying to rip itself out, and all the scalpels get thrown at it. And eventually you wind up having your bear arm baby. I forget how he got the laser eye. But yeah, if DylanDoesComics.com, you can read the whole thing. He was somewhat appalled when he was on. My wife actually discovered it before he was on, and before I knew he was my brother's friend. He was almost appalled that I managed to discover it. And my first question was about it. It's like, how do you know about that? Where'd that come from? Like, dude, it's still up on your website.
Are you familiar with the Nardwuar, the guy who interviews musicians, Nardwuar?
I feel like maybe Nardwuar.
Nardwuar, he's been around for a long time, and that's kind of his thing. He always asks the most obscure questions that the artist always goes, "What the hell? How did you even know about that?" That's kind of his shtick.
No, I okay.
Got some great interviews.
Yeah, no, I kind of have that. I don't think I have it going on purpose. but it actually came up earlier today too. You know, when we talked to Tom King the first time, I like both floored and amazed him because, you know, I'm like, well, Tom, is there anything you want? He's like, whatever you want. Talk. And I'm like, okay, if you're gonna throw it to me to just ask you about anything, let's talk about Heroes in Crisis. He's like, nobody wants to talk about Heroes in Crisis. I'm like, no, seriously, I want to talk about. He's like, as long as you're not asking me about Wally West. I'm like, I don't care about that debate.
Yeah, right. Just the audaciousness of doing a comic book about superheroes who need therapy.
That is exactly. I mean, I was psyched as hell for that. I mean, that's why I love Tom to begin with. Is like more than anybody else, he's put like mental health into superhero comics.
For sure.
I mean, I never had a pull for Batman until Batman proposed to Catwoman. I'm like, wait, what? And then I had to go read the stuff. And I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Batman has decided that maybe being happy would be a good thing. Oh, I gotta read this.
Yeah, that's a different take. That's a different take. Yeah. Yeah, it was a shame that they pulled him off that book.
Though the Batman Catwoman miniseries was
they let him finish. Yeah. But I mean,
actually, did you, just because I'm going to be talking about this until either I manage to talk to Tom about it or until it's done, and probably more, did you see the ash can for Animal Pound?
No, I have not. I have not seen that, but I've seen people raving about it online.
So, I mean, essentially, it's his modern adaptation of Animal Farm.
Yeah, Animal Farm. Yeah.
But he wrote a letter at the end that was essentially his statement of purpose. He talked about how Animal Farm was true to its time as we saw communism in China and Russia devolving into fascism, you know, about how these left-wing progressive ideals, this looking to the future, could lead to fascism. He's like, but that's not what's going on in our time. What's going on in our time is conservative ideals looking to the past, being caught is leading to fascism. So that's what I'm writing about. And then where he wound up really blowing my mind, because he's such a humble guy. It's so hard to get him to say his work is good. He's always like, I'm glad you like it. He strikes me as the type of writer that's never thinks it's done as much as it needs to be turned in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He like throws down. He says this is going to be a story that everybody needs to read. This is a story to be taught in our classrooms and discussed and debated for years to come. And I'm just like, holy shit! If Tom's saying that, game on, buckle up.
Yeah. And he's so good at doing that, doing spin, like he did with Supergirl and True Grit. He takes a story.
He and Bilquist have a creator-owned book coming?
No, oh, that would be amazing.
Oh, yeah.
But if you had asked me, do I want a Supergirl version of True Grit, I would have said no. I would have said no, I don't need that. But I was wrong. It was, superb.
Yeah, it's being described as Conan the Barbarian meets the Wizard of Oz. Helen of Windhorn. Thrilling blend of fantasy and adventure.
Oh, that's excellent. And is that dropping this year or next year?
It's either this year or early March 13th.
Okay.
Will be the first issue.
Super cool.
So I think it's just here. I'll show you. You're on your phone, but I'll still.
I mean, I'll see a little of it. See a tiny version of it.
Show you the cover as best I can.
I don't generally wear glasses.
It's a great Bilquist cover.
Yeah, it is. It's tiny, but yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I can't wait for that.
I mean, I was so happy when he stopped being exclusive to DC.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm not saying I would never take an exclusive deal because there's all kinds of reasons why people make decisions.
Oh, like no, that. I totally get it.
And I'm not,
they're
judging.
Often very lucrative, and I'm all for you guys eating.
Yes, exactly.
I say that over and over on this show. I want my creators to eat.
But as an artist, the ability to go to different publishers who, that's really what you want.
Now, I just remember when I was in high school was like that era of like post-grunge, neo-punk, whatnot, and anytime a band actually had a hit album, there'd be a group of people going, "Oh, they're sold out." I'm sitting there going, "Dude, they don't have to sleep in their van and work at Walmart when they're not on tour."
Yep.
I mean, come on.
Yeah, for sure.
I remember the first time do you know the Badly Drawn Boy?
Yes.
I remember the first time I heard one of his songs in a Target commercial. And so many people would have been like, "Oh, he sold out."
Yeah.
But the first thing that went through my mind was, Damon got paid.
Yeah. Probably a bigger check than ever before in his life.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, probably what he got paid for that one commercial was the equivalent of like a year's royalties.
Yeah, or more. I mean, that's good grief. Yeah. No, that's so. But the ability to, like, when someone says no, so not be the end, right? If you're exclusive, you got an idea, and they say no, well then,
right.
What am I going to do with that?
You got to stick it in a drawer for
5 years or how long. Yeah. So luckily, I don't have that problem.
But also, I mean, in general, exclusives are with Marvel and DC, which means you're also locked into doing stories with superheroes for the most part.
I'm not going to say who, but there is a non-Marvel and DC, the Marvel or DC company that was trying to get Mark to go exclusive, and I was like, I don't know, Mark, because Mark works for everybody, So
no, he does. And
that would be a big change.
I mean, I don't want to make this the Mark Russell show.
That's all right.
But
we work together.
I mean, we even, I forget if we traded an email or we just traded stuff on Blue Sky about the fact that it's possible that that Traveling to Mars is the best thing he's ever done.
Oh yeah.
And it's at like the smallest publisher he's ever worked with.
Yep.
Which I assume means that 3 or 4 publishers turned it down.
I'm sure. I'm I could ask him, but yeah, I'm sure that people.
Well, I mean, he'll be on again if the question needs to be asked. I can do it.
But I'll tell you again, not telling tales I shouldn't tell, but there's already interest from big time names in Hollywood about Mars for him, and yeah, because it's a really cool, solid story. Beautiful.
Well, and if I'm Hollywood, I'm also. I mean, I think everybody was shocked that The Martian got made a movie so fast.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't seen it yet. I've heard good things, but I don't watch as many movies as a lot of people do, and certainly as many as I did when I was younger.
Yeah,
but I wasn't shocked at all because I'm sitting there going, one set, one actor.
Yep.
That's not actually a ridiculously expensive
doesn't cost that much money.
Make.
No.
But particularly because it's a space movie, it feels like a big budget movie.
Yeah.
So Traveling to Mars totally fits into that.
Yeah, you got a couple robots. I mean, it's not that. I mean,
like 90% of it takes place on one space set.
Yeah.
And the other stuff you could do on a soundstage in a week.
Yeah. Now I haven't read the ending yet because I didn't want to. I wanted to wait until it came out, and I enjoyed it so much.
Well,
so
I know that I did tell Mark we will need to talk as soon as it's done. I don't want to talk to you until I can read the end of this, because it's too close to this.
Yeah.
And I don't. How much time do you get to read comics that aren't your own and aren't close friends lately?
I mean, right now I have more time because I'm out of school. But when I'm in school, I don't have a ton of time. Like this week, I've already read Monica, the new Klaus book.
Yeah, Klaus was at CXC, so I read that 3 weeks before it came out because it was on sale there.
Neat. Well, I'm assuming you thought it was amazing.
I liked it quite a bit. Yes, I did.
Yeah. It's so cool. But,
for that matter, I read half of it. Like he was the keynote on Friday night. So from like 7 to 9. And I got back to the hotel room and I read half of it before I fell asleep that night.
Yeah. No, I could have sat and read the whole thing in one sitting. And what a pleasurable experience. The art, of course, is beautiful, but the pages, the thickness of those pages. Yeah. Every time I start to turn the page, I'd go, am I turning 2 pages? It took me like half the book to go, I'm only turning 1.
I actually had a friend over recently who, ironically, her name is Monica. So as soon as she saw it, she had to pick it up. And when she started flipping through it, she's like, I didn't know they made comics on cardstock. Do they do? Yeah. And I'm like, they do. Not a ton.
Occasionally.
Yeah.
But boy,
wow, this is really high quality.
yeah. And, it just makes the whole package feel just, wonderful. It's an object that you want to have, that you want to own. And let's see. I also read in the last few days the first 4 issues of Immortal Thor, which I wanted to read, and I enjoyed that.
I haven't yet. I always lag on almost all superhero stuff, unless people are going, you must read, like Wonder Woman. You must read Wonder Woman.
Yeah, I've heard that Wonder Woman's amazing.
This is actually how you know that Fox News is every bit as misogynist as they think they are. They've gone after Tom in the past. They go after anything super. They go after freaking Superboy being gay.
Yeah.
Wonder Woman is completely about the toxic masculinity and like the ties between big money militia type state and the government. It's got like all of the stuff that they would go ape shit about.
Yeah.
Except that clearly nobody at Fox has read it because it's Wonder Woman. Why would we read that? I mean, I am shocked.
Yeah, that they haven't. Wait till a slow news day. There just needs to be a slow
I mean,
news
it's got fodder on every level. Either that or they remember what happened when Dean Cain got into it with Tom King.
Oh, yeah. Well, Dean Cain's, not bright, so.
Well, and also, Tom can throw. Well, I mean, yes, he's bright, but also, I mean, it was great when I forget what Cain. Oh yeah, Cain said, I know you're trying to be tough, but you don't have to throw the F word around. And Tom's like, I only use the F word because you were using your platform to encourage people not to wear masks.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I'm tough or not, but while you were wearing a cape on TV, I was serving my country in Iraq.
Yeah. Yeah. I imagine that's how it would go.
I mean, I honestly would love to see a Fox News host think that they could take Tom King on.
Well, they'll never have him on again, right? If that's what happens.
Well, I mean, they keep bringing Buttigieg back.
As Buttigieg does well on there. I don't watch Fox, so
I don't watch Fox either. But every time Buttigieg goes on there, he mops the floor with them, so it winds up popping up in places that aren't Fox.
Yeah.
You don't have to watch Fox to see.
I guess something's changed over there, because I always thought that once somebody showed up one of their hosts, that person wasn't on anymore.
I think that's overall the case. I think when it comes to Buttigieg, they're just convinced that he doesn't show them up in their viewers' eyes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's kind of like my conspiracy theory. That's not really a conspiracy theory because I think conspiracies require like a lot of people involved to really call it a conspiracy. And I think there aren't many people involved in making the book banned lists at all.
Right. A couple people.
There's a very small group of people.
Yes.
But those books are dominated by books with titles that just make it obvious that you grab them. Most of which aren't even on library shelves.
Right.
It's like they did a keyword search of Amazon for gay, keyword search of Amazon for flaming transsexual, whatever. Yeah. And that they're doing this because of some of the mistakes they make too. Like when they do have like an Alan Moore book on, they'll have the publication date as the most recent print rather than everybody's got the same list, but what really dominates the list are Ta-Nehisi Coates and Ibram Kendi and Jerry Kraft.
Scary.
Even when people like Larry McMurtry or Carl Hyacin or whatnot have written books that would be objectionable for the same reasons.
Right.
Brokeback Mountain isn't on the list.
Oh, that's funny.
Well, I don't think it's funny at all. I think what it is they're afraid that if Larry McMurtry is on the news defending his work, an old white Texan, their viewers will actually listen to it.
Possible, yeah. I like you said, I don't know if it's that well thought out though. This book ban list.
I don't
aiming
know
it out that far
either. But again, I mean, Michael Chabon's not on the list. I mean, Adventures of Cavalier and Clay, Mysteries of Pittsburgh don't make the list.
Yeah. Well, the Adventures of Gay Cavalier and Kay, and the Clay, then maybe.
Well, yeah. I mean, some of it might be that, but I mean, they wind up with stuff that clearly, it was the description that had the keyword, not the title. So, I mean, it's been a while since we went through this because we actually did an episode on it a while back, but that's my mini conspiracy theory is that, some intern put together the list and then the actual PR guy went, no, we don't want to see that guy on TV. No, we don't want to see that guy on TV. No, No, we don't want to see that guy on TV.
Yeah. Yeah.
Our people might listen to him.
Yeah. Yeah. And they're not going to listen to Ta-Nehisi Coates. Yeah.
Just like I actually, I mean, right now, have you ever heard of Bring the War Home?
No.
I'm listening to it right now. It's what's this? It's Kathleen Belew, who's a historian, like went through. God, she had to read so much stuff that I wouldn't want to touch with a 10-foot pole.
Yeah. Helpful when someone does it for you.
It's the white power movement and paramilitary in America. So it's essentially, starting from Vietnam and how they were able to take the people who came home broken and looking for a fight and whatnot and kind of mold and aim them. And God, they stole a lot of military hardware in the 80s. Like a lot of military hardware in the 80s.
Wow.
I mean, there were even trials about it, but no evidence, at least I haven't gotten there. Maybe I'm a couple chapters away from us recovering all the stuff that was stolen. But one of the big things that was big on how they managed to really become as big and influential and whatnot, because I mean, where I came across the book is she had an essay in a book recently called, I think, Myth America, Historians Take on the Biggest Legends and Lies About Our Past. And her essay was about the lone gunman. She's like, there aren't lone gunmen. The white power movement has been working for 40 years on putting together leaderless resistance.
Yeah.
So there's not, they breed lone gunmen.
All their
Timothy McVeigh wasn't a lone gunman just because he planned on his own or with the one other guy,
Right. They didn't come up with the ideas. The ideas were fed to them.
And for that matter, and like I like half want to read it and half again don't want to touch it with a 10-foot pole and a hazmat suit. Apparently there's a book called The Turner Diaries.
I've heard of this book. It
is like the book of the white power movement.
Yeah.
Like hundreds of thousands of copies in circulation, huge. I mean, McVeigh was you name McVeigh actually sold it at gun shows. She talks about, white power lodges or whatnot where they just have stacks of them. So if anybody doesn't have one, they can grab it. And it lays out the blueprint in too many disturbing ways, which is why on one side, I feel like I'm conspiracy theory when I do this sort of thing. And on another side, I feel like, it doesn't actually take a lot of people to kind of nudge these things. And that's barely a conspiracy. Conspiracy is when huge numbers of people have to keep their mouth shut.
Yes. Yes. I agree. I agree.
But I remember actually wondering if the whole mouse being removed from the curriculum was a head fake to get us to stop looking at Texas and Florida. Because compared to what was going on in Texas and Florida, it was
nothing.
What's more is arguably it shouldn't have been on the curriculum. In the library, absolutely. But you can make a good argument that you can have that lesson with a book that's not as disturbing as Mouse or more age appropriate. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But again, at the same time that everybody was looking at Tennessee, Texas, and in Texas they didn't even pass a law. What they managed to pass was a thing where all libraries needed to send a list of how many of these books they had and how much money they'd spent on it, which of course isn't a ban, but it's certainly going to make a lot of librarians uncomfortable about.
Of course. Yep. No, it's gross.
This is why it's fun to talk to you, because I know that you and I both.
I agree, 100%.
I still thank you again for the John Ronson recommendation.
I'm glad you. Yeah.
It was such a good book.
Yeah,
I think about it a lot because
me too.
We're so good at shaming, particularly people that it's like. It's like the right is great at shaming anybody who gets out of lockstep at all.
For sure.
Liz Cheney and anybody who who, like, the only thing that makes Liz Cheney better than Donald Trump.
Yep.
Is she's not an outright criminal and believes that Donald Trump is.
Yes. No, she's there's nothing to like about Liz Cheney except for her take on January 6th. There's nothing else to like about Liz Cheney.
But that's enough for them to completely shame her.
Yes.
Whereas on the left, we will crucify anybody with even the slightest. The two that I bring up the most, I'll start with the more problematic, because he's done some stuff since then that made me give up on fighting for him. But when the whole Dave Chappelle thing broke initially, I'm sitting there going, this is a bad joke. It's an out of taste joke. But also, it doesn't sound like it was a joke. It sounds like he was talking about a friend of his that had died recently. So do we have any context that we want to maybe put to this?
Yeah.
Does all of his other work through the years not matter at all?
Exactly.
And then because he said he was more than willing to have a conversation, but there needed to be rules. They needed to be moderators. He wasn't just going to be attacked, which as somebody who's dealt with mental health issues is a completely appropriate way to handle that. But that just, people double down. Oh, he doesn't really want to have a conversation. He wants to. It's like.
Yeah. And how many of those people actually even watched the set that they were mad about?
Exactly.
And
I didn't watch it, but I read it, and I'm like,
I watched it. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm
a long-time fan of Dave Chappelle.
But he's talking about a friend.
Yep.
And there is hidden in there a real point.
Yes. And I don't think it was
maybe he's not punching down.
Right. I don't think that he was doing anything from a place of hate. Whether it was in bad taste, whether his opinions are a little off, that you can certainly argue. But I don't think that it was like, I hate trans people.
Right.
I don't think there's anything.
Where I did get frustrated with him was when he was at his local city council meeting arguing against low-income housing.
Yeah, that's not good.
Well, but actually, it was recently that I started thinking about that again and remembering that he lives in rural Ohio.
Yep.
Which he did because it was a way to hide out.
Yep.
And he actually has real community ties and whatnot, and they treat him well, etc. Where he is, if they had low-income housing, would it be low-income minority people or would it be low-income Trump supporters?
Yeah.
And he may have real reason to want to keep low-income Trump supporters away from him. I still don't love the optics or the way he threw the amount of money he spent around, that sort of thing. But it's maybe this is even more complicated than I initially.
Yeah. And then for me, when he starts palling around with Elon Musk, that's a bad sign.
Did he?
Yeah.
I missed that.
Then
I'm done.
Yeah, he had Elon at one of his shows, and the crowd
for the time being.
Yeah. Because me
I
and
don't
Elon.
necessarily believe in completely. I mean, that's not quite true. Harvey Weinstein, Bill Cosby, they're pretty much done for me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And if you brought Bill Cosby up on stage with you, I'd be like, no. So.
See, I'd even be back and forth on that because it's so weird to go. I mean, it's hard enough for me to go, I've decided that you're irredeemable, but it's
Right.
that much harder for me to go, uh, the fact that you still have a friend that I think is irredeemable is irredeemable.
It's tricky, right? I guess
Yeah.
my opinion is very colored by watching that 4-hour documentary on Showtime about his raping. And it was
no,
a hard slog. And you get to the end of that, and you kind of go, was this one of the most evil, like, genius monsters that's ever been in our country?
Right.
Like, he was such a predator for so long and in so many
but then
parts of his life.
In my total, like, contrarian, hopeful type person, I sit there going, but if all of his friends abandon him, is there any chance that he shouldn't just crawl into a hole and die, but rather could in some way redeem himself enough to make some sort of amends?
Yeah.
Whatever.
I mean, the start for that would be to admit that he had done something wrong, which he's, very, very much not doing. So,
well, he certainly hasn't done publicly, but you don't know what he's done privately. And again, would he ever do that if all of his friends also abandoned him?
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I think
and again, I'm not saying this is how I feel.
Yeah.
His friends shouldn't abandon him. I'm just sitting there going, it's where it gets so messy.
I'm not saying that I would sit there and intellectually, like, well, it would be my reaction to seeing, like.
Oh yeah, definitely. I just don't know if it would be something that would last forever for me or not.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And I don't know if the same thing with Elon Musk and Dave Chappelle. I don't know that means I'll never.
And I think about this more than a lot of people do, because Kyle Rittenhouse was one of my wife's students. So while I didn't know him personally, she had him in her classes, her friends.
Yeah.
And, they don't remember him fondly, but they don't remember him badly either. What they mostly remember was that he was a lost kid that wanted friends.
Mm-hmm.
Even watching the video of him that day, he didn't actually seem like one of the ones that wanted to be shooting somebody.
Yeah.
Which makes me wonder how much of it was he was carrying that around because he felt like that was how to fit in.
Oh, certainly he was getting that kind of, he was getting cheered and stuff when he walked by the cop.
And all of the stuff where he's gone hard right since then has been because they embraced him so much.
Right. One side of the political body said you're a monster. The other side said you're a hero. Which side is he going to, run to?
At 19, which side are you going to listen to? Yeah.
I would have done what he would have done. I'm afraid, I'm not, I would have never run around with a gun, but in his position of half the people hate you and half the people love you, of course, as a 19-year-old, you go to the love.
Yeah. I mean, how can we even expect him not to?
Right. No, he's a child. He's being used.
Right. The New Yorker actually did a really balanced piece on him during the trial that I really appreciated, and I still tell people to read because it really, I mean, it did enough background to go, no, this isn't somebody who was radicalized before this event.
Yeah.
He was a sweet kid who wanted to be helpful, who happened to be around the wrong type of people, but not the type of people that anybody would call the wrong crowd.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't hanging out with stoners or people doing graffiti or whatnot, He's hanging out with, upright citizens that just happen to carry around AR-15s to protect private business.
Uh-huh.
And anybody who can't hear them, I'm doing big air quotes in the air.
Yeah. He is. giant air quotes.
I mean, in the video, you see him with the officers, or for that matter, the interview that he wound up doing. He shows off his first aid kit, not his gun.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, this country is going to create people like that from all kinds of play. It's in the same way that I can't look at Donald Trump and not think he's a quintessential American in a way.
Yeah.
Particularly
a quintessential, born with a silver spoon in his mouth.
Born with a silver spoon.
But taught that he worked for it all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And believing, all that hype, that was very convenient, right? I'm sure that his father fed it to him from day one.
Right.
That, we're special and we're better than other people. And, there's a lot of that in this country, unfortunately. Yeah. A lot of people being raised to think that in all kinds of ways, right? Not just with money.
Yeah. No, have you ever read Sapiens?
No, I don't think so.
I read it recently. It was recommended by the history teacher in his class. It's called A Brief History of Humankind. Yuval Noah Harari. And it's trying to look at both a historical and biological approach to humans and how they developed and whatnot. Mm-hmm. And they made a comic too that I'm not done reading. So, I mean, that's my plug for, I love it when nonfiction books get turned into comics.
Yeah, me too.
But one of the things, particularly because I got to this chapter at about the same time that I read the chapter in Myth America about lone wolves. So they kind of mixed in my mind, is what really wound up separating Homo sapiens from Homo erectus and Neanderthals. And, there were like 6 different Homo species at one point at the same time. And like 10,000 years later, there were only Homo sapiens, which is like not really how any other species works. I mean, in general, you don't have entire subclasses vanish because we have many breeds of dogs. We didn't wind up with one dog. We didn't wind up with one monkey. We didn't wind up with one elephant.
Yeah, right.
But what we have that there's no evidence that any other species has ever had is an ability to create and then share fiction.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because if you think about it, our like entire lives are I mean, what's money?
Yeah, it's a story.
Money is a shared fiction.
Yeah.
A government system is a shared fiction.
Yeah. Learning that more all the time with our fun events in our country right now.
Right. But so I'm reading that at the same time.
When you get judges who say things like, well, Trump broke the law, but he's running for president. Well, that just shows that our laws are it's just a story, and if we don't all agree on the story,
right. But at the same time, I was learning about the Turner Diaries. I'm just sitting there going, oh my God, this is this whole different perspective to like look at everything.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah.
Did you and actually what that then, and this is insight into my brain. What then immediately popped into my head for I had those 2 ideas in my head. I actually started thinking about some Spencer Ackerman stuff from Reign of Terror. because it plays in with the lone wolf, and because he starts the whole. I mean, you read Reign of Terror?
No, heard of it. No.
So Spencer Ackerman, get another guy that's got a comic. He's writing Waller versus Wildstorm right now, which is fantastic. But he's like the journalist that covered the War on Terror. When he wrote his book on it, he started with Timothy McVeigh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean that's
to then go through. I mean, actually, Ackerman has his it's not on Substack anymore because he did exactly 1 year on Substack to take their money and then move to Ghost. But it's called Forever Wars, and particularly since things blew up in Gaza, he and Jonathan Katz have been really required reading.
Okay. Yeah, I see
things. They're both Jews.
TV. So, yeah. So I see them on TV a lot lately.
Yeah. They're both Jews. So it's like it's not that they don't understand the Jewish experience.
Yeah, right.
But they can also go, being Jewish and thinking that Benjamin Netanyahu and the far right wing of the Knesset should be speaking for the entire Jewish race.
Not
very
so
different things.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
But yeah, then the other thing that popped in my mind, and this I'm certain you've read. You remember, I think it's issue 18 of Sandman. Cats.
Yeah. Oh yeah. For sure.
And I'm just sitting there going, "Oh, the power of storytelling."
The
power of storytelling.
Did you see Kieran Gillen get into this on Blue Sky recently with some people? He was talking about, stories can be dangerous. Stories can be really dangerous, and they cause a lot of death and destruction in our world. And so then somebody came back at him, well, why are you writing stories then? He goes, well, it's better me to be writing these stories than some person who's an asshole and is going to, cause trouble. I'm trying to write good stories.
Because they can also be good.
Yep. He was saying, it doesn't mean that they have to be bad and dangerous.
I mean, almost anything that has that much power for bad also has that much power for good.
Yes. Yeah. And, to swing back to Frogman after like a half an hour here or whatever.
I'm down with that. Frogman's awesome.
That was my intent, was I want to write something that's not so cynical. Right. It's easy to in this world we're in right now, certainly with politics and stuff, to write cynical stuff. Even my bad gets cynical at times. But I was like, I want to do something that talks about how people can be better and can do better. And,
I mean, that is something that I like about both you and Mark. Even when you're mildly cynical, I don't think you're ever without hope.
No, I don't want my writing to be hopeless.
I think there's a huge difference between being cynical and being hopeless or defeatist.
Right. I think that's fair.
I think a healthy amount of cynicism is not bad.
No, it's appropriate in our current world.
I mean, in almost any world, you should question, deciding. I mean, the biggest problem with our world is even the people who think that they're cynics, that think they question blah, 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 will then go with the answer they like rather than the answer that's best supported.
Very true, which is a big problem.
If you do your own research and find, Jim Bob's blog says that masks kill more people than they save, but you also read 50 articles from various doctors who say the opposite, and you decide that Jim Bob is the one that's telling it truth, even though he did get his GED on the third try and has been collecting garbage ever since.
Yeah, but he knows some doctrine. Yeah, for sure. It's like Aaron Rodgers, the football player, is very anti-vax. He didn't have a podcaster fix his Achilles when it tore. he went to the doctor and had a professional fix his Achilles. So it's, it's cute when people want to pretend like they don't believe in medicine.
Yeah. And again, I'm not even saying that you're not allowed to be a little skeptical. I have the harder argument, other than I still can't find a single doctor that will support it. I've had some friends that are like, I just want to spread out the vaccines more. I'm worried about my kid having all of that at once.
Sure.
And it's way harder for me to make any argument about that.
Yeah, I've got family who does that with their kids, and
other than I sit there going, I don't know. Don't you just want to? I mean, because really, what you're saying is you don't want them to cry because they're stuck with the needles. So rather than doing it all at once, you're going to do it once every 6 months for 3 years.
yeah. Make it a regular torture.
Why not get it all done with before they remember any of it?
Yeah. I mean, to me,
but it's still more supportable. I mean, it's one thing to question, and even to ask for a second opinion or do research or whatnot. It's another thing to go, I read on this website that I don't know what the sources are whatsoever, so I don't care that you have a medical degree. I think you're wrong.
Yeah, and really what it is,
I'm not going to tell an engineer how to build a bridge. Right. If I'm looking at it, I might go, that doesn't seem right. Explain it to me.
But I want the engineer to build the bridge.
Right.
I don't want the guy, like you said, that just got his GED and picks up garbage to build a bridge. I don't want him doing that. Right. And I think that's logical. I shouldn't be building the bridge either. And I went to college, It's like,
right. I mean, for that matter, this is an extension of an argument that I've been making in terms of schooling for years, because we have way too much memorization in school.
Yes.
And my biggest argument for why that's an utter waste of time and a terrible, terrible judge of intelligence or preparation or anything like that is, if you've got two heart surgeons who are otherwise the same, but one says, I got it all up here, and the other says, I got a computer monitor that'll be in the room reminding me everything to do, which one are you going to use?
Yeah. It's obvious the second.
If you got two bridge makers, and one of them's like, I know how to use the computer and it'll check all my stuff and recheck it and whatnot, and the other says, I do all the math in my head.
Yeah. Right. I mean, this may have been different 100 years ago, but right now with the technology that we have, I mean, it's ridiculous.
It's a matter of knowing how to find the information, not
for sure
retaining the information.
Yeah.
It's knowing how to use the information, not retaining the information. And that's actually another place where comics are great, because they do help us retain the information, because we have to use both sides of our brain, and a much more active, even prose reading can be somewhat passive. Watching video is definitely passive, or at least can easily be passive. You can't read a comic passively.
No.
You have to figure out how the words work with the pictures.
And
some involve more of that than others, but there's always active work with them. So that alone is going to help you remember.
And what happens between the panels, right? That takes another, different stories. There's different things happening between the panels, and you got to kind of.
But then on top of that, you have to do some problem solving. You have to.
That's
cool. Another one of my, and there are more and more people doing. Have you come across Pop Culture Classroom at all?
No, what's that?
I know you're a behavior specialist, so you wouldn't use as much of it, but it might be something to toss towards some of your history teachers.
Okay.
So, and you're on a phone, but
I'm not gonna be able to see it very well.
I'll drop it into the chat too.
As you brought up that I'm behavior specialist, I had a kid last Wednesday when Project Cryptid 3 came out. I brought a couple copies to school. It's a middle school, and I gave a couple copies to kids I thought would enjoy the story. And there was one kid though that he doesn't like to read.
Right.
He's got ADHD, and he's just not, any kind of reading to him is like, you're making him sit still. But he was having a really hard day, and he was blaming other people for his actions, and he was kind of trying to find a scapegoat. I said, hey, read this Frogman story. And he sat and read it. And it was, like you said, he had to focus on it. He had to think about it while he was reading it. And then I was able to talk to him about the character in the story and his hatred of the Frogman and how it was irrational. And he was able to have a really good conversation with me. I felt like I'm probably, safe to say, the only comic book author who, the day his comic book came out, was using it in a classroom to teach. Which was kind of awesome. It was a kind of, wow, this is fun. And I wasn't a plan I had going in that day, but
no, it just happened.
It worked perfectly. It was a teachable moment, and it was awesome.
But so yeah, Pop Culture Classroom commissions all sorts of mostly history comics.
Oh, neat.
That are, in fact, I've got a couple of friends have done. Carl Krumholtz did one, and Marcus Anderson did one.
Wow.
You can do suggested donations, or you can just download them. They all have like various reading guides as well, or study guides. They also have teaching guides for all sorts of graphic novels.
We have about half of our class stays with us the entire day. So we do teach things like history lessons and stuff in the behavior classroom. So yeah, that's a great resource.
Pop Culture Classroom.
Thank you. I'm going to do that for sure. And I'll let you know how it goes.
If you haven't read it, and or if you have any coworkers that you need to get on board with the whole using comics is a good thing. Tim Smythe literally wrote the textbook.
Oh yeah,
comics and graphic novels.
Yeah.
And he leads off with, his son was what they call a reluctant reader.
Mm-hmm.
And comics is how he broke through, and that's when he started using them more in the classroom, and then went back and became a reading specialist as well as a history teacher. So his website, historycomics.net, both has a link to buy his book, but also he's got a massive set of links for like how to teach comics, create comics, websites about comics, comics about women, comics about, like Speak, I Kill Giants, Time Museum,
Neat.
All sorts of, let's see. Women, young readers, disabilities, autism, elementary, horror, literature, English language arts. There have been a lot of good classic literature adaptations lately. Shakespeare, mythology, math. There are math comics. Good ones.
Neat.
Cartoon Guide to Calculus.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's a cool resource.
So here I'll dump that into our chat too. Just so
thanks.
You know me. I'm even when I'm not at school, I mean, it took me way too long to get into a classroom. I spent time in retail and then time in senior care. But, I've been a teacher at heart since I was like 10.
Yeah.
I actually came across a book that we put together in 5th grade where everybody talked about what they were going to grow up to be. And, you got astronauts and football players and ballerinas. And at 10, I was going to be a teacher.
Oh, wow. Yeah. That's so cool. You came back to it. The road led you back.
Well, and I never stopped. I just, there's a lot of different ways to teach.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
There's a lot of different ways to teach. But, hopefully you can make it to Cool People Talking Comics and stuff this time around. We gotta have
you guys
in that sometime.
That's you guys are still doing that? Yeah. December? Yeah. What date?
I'm going to look that up right now because it occurred to me that was the next question you were going to ask me.
And you guys are still doing it Sunday. Well, my morning for me. I mean, it may not be morning for you.
Yeah, it'll be 10 a.m. for you on the 10th.
The 10th.
Yeah. I'll be sending out a reminder probably.
Yeah, send out a reminder.
Sometime this week.
If I'm in town, I'll.
No, I know. You keep being.
I run around on the weekend. I run around.
How we pull it off?
Yeah. I mean, I've got family around Oregon, and I'm always zipping around seeing family.
Gotcha. We are nominally doing music and comics. My recommended reading is Dave Chisholm's Enter the Blue. So we also just did a Miles Davis biography that's amazing.
I'll bet. Wow.
Well, particularly because Dave Chisholm is both a cartoonist and a PhD jazz trumpeter, and teaches both music and cartooning at, I think, the Rochester Institute of Technology.
Wow.
And one class that's both.
Yeah.
He actually teaches a music and comics class.
Wow.
Which is just so cool to me.
Yeah, that is.
It's so cool to me that there's a college level music and comics class out there.
Yeah. The world ain't all bad in 2023.
No, there's so much that's good in this world, and then I try to emphasize that, and that's why I tend to be hopeful, but it's also why it can be so scary sometimes. When because
we're so close.
There's so much to lose.
Right. We're so close to getting things right more than we ever have, but we're also so close to throwing it all away.
And particularly with the language they use, it's like, make America great again. My first argument is, who the fuck told you we stopped being great?
Yeah, right. Yep.
And second, when were we greater than this?
Yeah, right. When did we have? Well, see, that's the thing. Is I think the hidden message behind that is we were great before we were more equitable, before we cared about other kinds of people.
It's definitely the not so hidden message behind it. We were great when white men could. Well, no, let me rephrase. We were great when rich white men could do whatever they wanted with no consequences whatsoever.
Yeah. And convincing themselves that was somehow the best system, because we're so perfect, these rich white men.
I mean, I finally managed to like distill my affirmative action argument, as the Supreme Court
struck it down.
Mm-hmm. No college was saying, "Oh, you don't meet our standards, but you're black."
Mm-hmm.
Harvard gets 10 times as many qualified applicants as they accept in any given year.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So once you're a qualified applicant, that means everything else is trying to distinguish between qualified applicants to decide who's going to be our class this
year. Yeah.
Particularly given that we know that education outcomes are better the more diverse the backgrounds of the students and the faculty, the more different voices are part of conversation.
Yeah.
Of course, once you cross that bar, you should consider race. You should consider economic class. You should consider regional area. You should be careful about having too many kids from the same high school.
Yeah.
If you want the best learning experience for everyone. I mean, for that matter, with the Supreme Court, they're, Ketanji Brown Jackson got a spot that she wasn't necessarily the most. What the hell is most qualified for when it comes to the Supreme Court?
Right.
There are 9 seats on the Supreme Court. You're telling me there aren't 1,000 people in this nation, 10,000 people in this nation who are qualified to be a Supreme Court justice? So why on earth shouldn't we have maybe, and this is actually the thing that I was most upset about with Jackson, maybe we could have one of them that didn't go to an Ivy League school?
Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah, that aren't all, just fitting into that. Yeah.
I love that, she was actually a defense attorney.
Yes, I was going to say that's one thing she's got going for her.
Right.
Unique in that way. Not a prosecutor.
I love Aaron Sorkin's writing.
Mm-hmm.
But one of my favorite lines that he ever wrote was actually in Sports Night, where Isaac told Jeremy, there's one thing I've learned in life. It's if you're dumb, surround yourself with smart people. If you're smart, surround yourself with smart people who disagree with you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's the Abraham Lincoln model, right?
Yeah. It's just, but it's certainly not the Donald Trump model.
No.
He actually said, I remember it every once in a while I would lose at work when I was in senior care. So I've actually had to watch episodes of The Apprentice because I had residents that wanted to watch The Apprentice.
Oh boy.
I remember one where he was explaining to his apprentices, you always have to be the smartest person in the room. If you feel like somebody's smarter than you or seems smarter than you got to fire them. And I'm like, are you insane?
He would have to fire a lot of people.
Are you insane? I mean, that explains so much about your presidency.
Yes. He is insane.
Also, how can it be exclusively Republicans who testify against him?
Yeah.
And Bill,
but there's a conspiracy.
His base thinks that it's just Biden out to get him. All of these people weren't actually Republicans when they worked for him, or they've been. I mean, is there even a conspiracy theory to fit it? I mean, what were we supposed to have done? Are we all threatening their families?
Yeah.
The Biden crime family sent them a fish in a flak jacket.
I mean, reality, facts, those kind of things, they don't matter. It's a cult,
It really doesn't.
For the vast majority of those people that follow Trump, it doesn't matter. They don't care what he says, even really, other than that he's making fun of someone they don't like.
And just because I've known just enough of them that other than that obsession seem like pretty good people.
Yeah. That's what Rachel Maddow was saying last week when I was watching her.
It's so hard to wrap my head around.
She's like, you've got to get outside your house and talk to these people because you have a million things in common with them, and we can't just hide from each other because of this political divide.
Actually, speaking of another, have you seen any of the First Second has a line of books called World Citizen Comics?
Yes. I love First Second.
Yeah, I do too. But one of the books at World Citizens Comics is they adapted Dan Rather's What Unites Us.
Oh, neat.
Okay. Well, what I really loved is pretty much every time. Here, I'll pull up a couple of pages here. Because it was all in blue and red, but where it got really interesting was if it's describing like right here, I think that's even Emma Gonzalez there. So the people who are on the left get colored in red, and the people on the right get colored in blue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of people that is chosen randomly, but if they're clearly on, I mean, Lincoln gets colored in blue here, but and I guess Martin got colored both ways, but for the most part, you're going through and it's like, it's almost jarring. It's like they're describing a Republican, but it's colored in blue, and so it's that subtle way that there's so many ways that a comic can help drive home a point.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, it's
Totally
like,
agree.
and God, I think I'd read it. Still one of my favorite things to bring up. Because I think I'd read it like a half dozen times before I noticed. You notice in Saga,
Yeah.
every time there's violence, the panels are crooked.
I've never noticed that. Now I've got it. I'm all excited because I wait
Yeah,
for Saga to be collected, and there's a new collection coming out
yeah,
next week.
I think
I'm all
so.
excited to read it.
Yeah,
Yeah, new one coming out next week.
or at the very least, every
That's
time like
cool.
Alana or Marco are involved in violence. So when they have to break their pact,
Yeah.
I think pretty close to every time there's violence. Period. But I think there might have been like one panel that I looked at it and went, "Wait, that's not crooked." But then I went, "Wait a
Yeah,
minute, it doesn't involve them
yeah,
breaking their pact."
yeah.
So
That's neat.
it's like every time there's violence with them, it throws their life off kilter, and it's driven home by
Yeah.
the fact that the panel is not
Hmm.
square in the normal way.
Well, that's so
The
neat.
whole panel is cockeyed. That's like the first question I have to ask Fiona if I ever have her on the show.
Yeah. I hope you get her on. She's
At
amazing.
some point, I have a manual typewriter right here, and since they prefer to get like snail mail,
Ah,
I regularly look at it and I'm like, I need it. Even has a framed copy of the Virgin um Saga 50, the one that had the family portrait as the cover. So it's
yeah.
essentially just the Saga family portrait framed
Neat.
behind the typewriter over here, just waiting for me to write them a letter.
You gotta do that.
I do. It's one of my goals every break. We'll see if this is the break that it actually happens, because
I hope it does.
her husband follows me on Blue Sky.
Oh, cool.
So
Cool. So you got a little link there. Yeah. Take a picture of that typewriter and post it.
But yeah.
Hey, do you want to talk about Acid Chimp before we finish up here?
Yes. Let's talk some Acid Chimp versus
Business Dog.
Business Dog. The two craziest animals in all of comics.
Yeah. So that's Tom Pyre, the wonderful Tom Pyre, who he just had this idea and came to Mark and I.
Tom's
like,
great. We had
yeah,
Tom
you
on
want to do this?
too.
Yeah,
I
he's
actually
great.
had Rob Nyer helped me interview him.
Oh, cool.
Rob helped interview Mark once too.
Neat. Yeah. So
it's because of Mark that I got to know Rob Nyer.
Oh, right. So Tom comes to us with this idea, and of course we say yes. We're like, oh, yeah, of course, it sounds fun, but
right,
how do you do this? How do you write a comic book that's about a chimp and a dog that, if you know Billionaire Island, really is just a dog. This is not an anthropomorphized character in any way. No, it's just a dog.
He's not special at all. He gets treated special.
Yes, but there's no agency. Not. He doesn't have agency of any kind. So it took us a while to talk about what we were going to do and figure out, initially some of our ideas were pulling us towards.
Does Acid Chimp crash the stock market?
No, that's not what happened. But I will say initially we were talking about using human characters. We're like, well, maybe they need to have a human character with Acid Chimp and a human character with Business Dog at all times. But we really challenged ourselves with the idea of, if I saw Acid Chimp versus Business Dog in the comic book store, I would want it to be about Acid Chimp and Business Dog and not human characters with them being side characters.
I love it.
And so we challenged ourselves to make it about the two animals, and I think we pulled it off.
I love it. And who's drawing?
Is it
Peter or is it Steve or both?
Both. The first half that I write, Peter draws. Mark writes the second half of the book, and Steve draws it. So yeah,
wow.
I'm for a book that was just like, what the hell are we going to do with this? I'm really happy with the way it turned out. I think it's a lot of fun.
I can't wait to see it. Can't wait. That's coming out soon, isn't it?
Yeah, like 10th of January, I believe. So people can ask to have it pulled for them and ordered by their local comic store.
Yeah, it I still love Acid Chimp to begin with. I like Business Dog a fair amount to begin with, but Acid Chimp, and why do I always forget the name of your superhero with the strength of two men?
Rush Hour. He's the
Rush
traffic
Hour.
superhero.
That's
yes,
right.
Yes.
Those, I mean, until today, when Tom introduced Lizzie to the backup story of Lizzie, I think, is like she's the child of one of the Amazons.
Oh, okay.
And day that's gonna go. And now
I lost you for just like 5 seconds there. What were you saying?
I said the backup story that involves Lizzie is John Kent. I mean, first of all, Lizzie's like 2 or 3. I mean, very young. You know, she's old enough that she's eating macaroni and cheese, young enough that she's complaining because it's the type with the crumbles on it or the crumbs on it, and the mac and cheese that's just yellow and comes in a blue box.
Perfect.
But of course she's driving them both nuts. So Superboy is Damian, and John's like, I've been Superman for 4 years now, and Damian's like, you've called yourself Superman. I can call myself Superman. It doesn't make me Superman, Superboy.
That's funny.
But he wants to go off because he hears, there's a bridge collapsing. I got to go. I'll be right back. We're babysitting. So, of course, when he slips off, Damian's like, oh, well, I got to go crime fighting, but I got to watch her. So he takes her with him.
Oh, okay.
She's Wonder Robin.
Now that's a superhero mashup I can get behind.
So until this morning, Rush Hour and Acid Chimp were my favorite characters in superhero comics. But I think Lizzie might have taken the cake.
It's okay. I can handle being down at 2 and 3. That's still pretty good.
Yeah.
And there's more by bad coming in the new year. We've written it all. I mean, we've written all the main stories. We've written all the main stories. Peter is working on drawing issue 2 right now, so that should be announced before too long. And
there's Lizzie.
Oh, cool. I need to read that.
What she's saying here is, can I go back to sitting in the front on the way home? I swear I won't press the eject button again, even if it was funny when you were flying.
Excellent. Yeah. Comics are fun.
They are. I love it. I love when comics are serious, but I love when comics are fun.
Yeah.
When they can be both at once.
Yeah.
I mean, which you do, and your buddy Mark is the current master of.
Yep.
Is just, I mean, that's something else, to be able to be funny and seriously thought-provoking at the same time. And that's another thing that's hard to do in any other medium. You can do it some in sketch comedy. Do some in sketch comedy. You can sometimes manage to pull it off in prose. Yeah,
I was going to say prose can do it.
But more in fiction prose than nonfiction prose.
Oh, yeah.
Ibram X. Kendi had Joel Christian Gill adapt Stamped from the Beginning, one of his books. And I saw him do an interview where they asked him, why did you decide to put a comic version of this out? And what he said that really resonated with me was, this book is so heavy. And it should be heavy. It's serious stuff. But that makes it really hard to read. But in prose, there's no way for me to lighten it that doesn't take away from that heaviness, that doesn't come off as condescending or mocking or whatever.
Undercut. Yeah.
In comics, there are ways to introduce levity without taking away the weight.
Yeah, it's well said.
And I went, oh my God, and I had read the book already at that point, because it was one of many that it's like, oh, this is coming out the second it hits digital, I need to start reading it. Can't wait for the comic shop to open the next morning. I love it. I mean, and you guys sometimes get paid twice because of it, because there's some books that I buy digitally because I don't want to wait to get the comic shop to be able to read them.
Yeah.
But there's no way in hell I'm not going to have a physical copy.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's like the I don't know if you've read Stamped, but it like takes the history of being black in America, or black. I mean, I don't even know exactly how to describe it, but it kind of splits it up into periods by person. So it starts with like Cotton Mather, and then Thomas Jefferson, and then Lincoln, King, Angela Davis, or Lincoln, Du Bois, King, Angela Davis. But one of the things is starting very early. I'd have to go back to look to know how early. Like Angela Davis's head will pop up going, this feels familiar.
No, that's funny.
You know, which is such a way to bring levity without taking the weight away.
Right. And also
not something you can do well in prose.
Right. It'd be much harder to do that in prose. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So, well, you're not up as late because you're out on the West Coast, but I'm starting to hit up late. We will definitely talk soon.
I'm starting to hit time to eat dinner. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, well, yeah, no, I want you to eat dinner too. But we definitely need to talk again soon. We should figure out, you know, whether you can make I mean, I want you, the cool people talking comics and stuff. You'd be great on those conversations, but you and I should figure out like education comics and just book club them.
Yeah, that would be fun. That's a good idea.
It doesn't have to be like education, but things that I think we could use in a classroom. Whether it's, you know, I mean, I'd actually love to do, and you're middle school, so I mean, I'd probably want to get Marcus or Joe Illidge or somebody, just because I feel like I'd need a black voice on this conversation. But I'd love to do a book club of the Jerry Craft New Kid trilogy.
Yeah. I know that. Yeah.
That sort of thing.
Good stuff.
I love that colleges have finally embraced using comics. High schools are getting there.
Yeah. And
middle schools are even farther behind, even though they're the ones that like desperately should be there.
I've used March
because so many of their people are reading, or so many of their kids are reading them already. Don't even know it. My wife would always laugh hard. You know, she does a daily like bell ringer activity. You know, what's your favorite this or that? So she asked. She's in elementary school now. When I reminded her that you were a behavior specialist in a middle school, she went, "Oh, so he's insane."
Most days.
Because she was so happy to get out of it. She spent the last 10 years in middle school. She's in elementary school this year, and while she's having to get adjusted to those kids again, she still likes them way more than the middle schoolers.
Hard.
She told me once last year about how one day her question was, "What's your favorite comic?" And like 2/3 of the class insisted that they didn't read comics. They didn't know what their favorite comic is, blah, blah, blah. And the next day, the question was, "What's your favorite book?" And more than half of the class was a Raina Telgemeier book. And
they don't think of it as a comic.
She's like, "Those are comics." And they're like, "Those are comics? I just thought it was a book."
Yeah. Isn't that cool? In a way, it's really
amazingly cool, but it also means that age group of teachers needs to be completely jumping on using them.
Oh, for sure. I agree.
Because I would love it if those kids managed to grow up thinking of comics and books synonymously.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would love it if we got to the day.
Yeah.
Got to the point where graphic novels weren't actually a separate section at the bookstore.
I agree with that.
Where superheroes were a separate section, but if it was a sci-fi graphic novel, it would be in sci-fi graphic novels. If it was a romance graphic novel, it would be in romance graphic novels. If it was, or not graphic novels and romance. I mean, maybe a subsection with the books, but I don't even know if I care about that. You know, I think anybody,
like Noah Van Sciver's Mormon book in the religion section.
Absolutely, and that was so good.
Isn't it awesome? Oh my God!
Oh, so
I'm not a Mormon. I'm not a Mormon or anything, but geez,
I met Noah at CXC too.
Oh, he's great. Yeah, I love Maple Terrace. Maple Terrace is really good too.
Oh yeah, I got.
Oh yeah, there it is. There it is. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, no, Maple Terrace is so good. Yeah, no, I'm hoping to have him on at some point soon. He's friend of a friend. And that's that was actually one of the cool things at CXC too, is I had two pretty good friends there on like opposite ends of the comic spectrum. So between them, I wound up meeting with like the introduction that gives you a little bit more weight to meeting so many cool people. Dennis Kitchen on recently.
Oh yeah, neat. Wow. Well, I'm sure there's stories. Mark's told me.
We've already agreed that we need to do more because 2 hours was not nearly enough.
No, Mark's been in like, parties where people are just sitting around listening to Dennis talk.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
like
he's amazing.
Cool.
So, yeah, always fun, Bryce.
Yeah, it was super fun, Tad.
Feel free to reach out to me too. Just because, sometimes I'm like, I wonder what Bryce is up to. Hey,
well, yeah, just reach out.
Trying to get better at it.
I will reach out as well. I sometimes not good about that. Yeah. I thought of you guys when I got on Blue Sky. I was like, oh, I should have just checked to see if you were on there first before I reached out. But it's cool that we've reconnected on there a little bit too.
Absolutely.
Ran away from Twitter X.
Well, because it like I got to Twitter late, so I feel like comics Twitter, as the comics Twitter that people talk about, was already in its dying days, and it was gone within like 6 months of me getting there. So this is like great for me. It's like, wow, you've got Scott McCloud weighing in on conversations with
Neil Gaiman answering anyone's question.
Neil Gaiman retweeted something for me.
Oh, sweet.
Well, I was plugging Shelley Bond's Kickstarter, so I was really doing it because I knew that Shelley wouldn't, because Shelley's Shelley, so she didn't want to lean on her, and I'm like, no, I don't have that problem. So let me take us out, and then we'll talk for a couple minutes, and then I'll let you go have dinner.
Okay.
For Bryce Ingman, this has been 22 panels. Hopefully we said something interesting to all of you. I feel like we've just been hanging out in my living room, which is how I like these things to go. I never know. I never know if that winds up being our listeners' cup of tea. Of course, our listeners are John and Mom. Hi, Mom. Hi, John. We will see you after the next page.
Hey guys, this is Tyler from 22 Panels. I'm here to tell you all about our Patreon. If you enjoy this show, please consider donating to our Patreon to keep this show going. We have many different tiers, all different levels, to help you decide what's right for you. Okay, so get on out there to patreon.com/22panelspodcast.